Evening exercise day 35. Now it's time to prepare for the final week of this spiritual path. Take time to read the introduction to week 6. Work in miracles. You've worked hard to shift your perception of yourself and your own life. Now it's time to bring this practice into your awareness of the world around you. When you accept the invitation to become a miracle worker, you'll intuitively know that you are meant to share the love. The work in week 6 will lead you on a path toward becoming a miracle worker in the world to use your miracle mind for the highest good. Week 6. Work in miracles. If you're feeling helpless, help someone. Our time spent together on this journey of new perceptions has been a daily reinforcement of the course message that only love is real. Each exercise in this book has been an invitation to your inner guide, humbly asking for guidance back to this powerful belief system. Your Ing is committed to teaching you this truth as long as you continue to ask for help. Only love is real is a bold statement and one that the ego cannot comprehend. This is why the course doesn't suggest we deny the fear of the world, but instead invite our Ing to guide us to the right-minded perception of these fears. When we bring our worldly fears to our Ing, we are led to find the powerless situations. We are guided to seek solutions rather than focus on sadness. We're guided back to love. Subtle daily shifts towards love help us reposition our focus and experience miraculous perceptual shifts. Each subtle shift you've undergone thus far has surrendered your worldly fears to your Ing for healing. Each time you followed your Ing instead of your ego, you invited your inner guide to reinterpret your fear from a loving perspective. In doing so, you were guided to a new perception, a miracle. Returning to your truth, you now understand that the correct, miracle-minded thing to do is to not deny your fear, but rather to see fear as an assignment to learn and grow. Once you recognise this practice as a lifelong commitment, you'll realise that the transformation is not for you alone. You'll learn that you're here to use this gift to shine light on the dark world around you. You became a miracle worker in the world. As you begin to understand how love is crucial in the healing of the world, your miracle work will take on a whole new meaning. Take Gandhi, for example. Through the power of love, Gandhi moved mountains. Gandhi's faithfulness to love led India to independence and ignited movements for non-violence, civil rights and freedom across the world. You have the capacity to unleash your inner Gandhi and become a miracle worker in the world. When you picked up this book, you may not have realised what you signed up for. Maybe you thought you'd heal a relationship, earn more money or overcome an addiction. Or maybe you hoped you'd just learn to let go of some of your fear. I expect that you've begun to achieve these goals and now it's time for you to take the next step. Being a miracle worker isn't just about letting go of negative beliefs and becoming happy. There is much, much more. Being a miracle worker is a practice of personal growth that leads to worldly transformation. The true purpose of this work is to heal your mind so that you can have a greater effect on the world. Whether you realise it or not, by picking up this book you accepted a major invitation. The invitation to help serve the world. Try not to get tripped up about this. The ego has crafty ways of keeping us from serving the world by convincing us that we're helpless. As a miracle worker, you now know better than to side with the ego. You now know that you're no longer powerless. The spiritual connection you have ignited is the greatest power you have to offer. The most prominent healers, teachers, and leaders are those who said no to fear and chose spirit as their guide. Miracle workers just like Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela and Mother Teresa are powerful examples of people who chose to turn their pain into the purpose of spreading love and transformation. These miracle worker leaders made such huge and lasting impacts on the world because they tapped into the collective resonance. Though our ego has convinced us to perceive ourselves as separate bodies having individual experiences, the Course guides us to remember that there is only one of us here. We share the collective consciousness of love. Each time an individual chooses love over fear, that person becomes a bridge for all the others who choose to follow in the path. When you choose love, you create a new energetic pattern. The pattern of love becomes more accessible when more and more people choose it. The ego's world has been filled with fear, attack, judgment and war. Now that you're on the miracle-minded path, you've chosen a new way to respond to this fear. This week we take this conscious decision more seriously, understanding the effect our choices have on the world. A powerful example of a miracle worker whose own enlightenment greatly affected those around her was a woman named Nani Bala Barua, later called Dipa May. When Nani was 16, she married and moved to Burma with her husband. 2 years later, her mother died unexpectedly, leaving behind a baby boy for Nani to care for. It took Nani several years to conceive a child of her own. At the age of 35, she gave birth to a daughter. Only 3 months later, her daughter died. At 39, Nani gave birth to another girl named Deepa, which led to Nani being called Deepa Ma, or Mother of Deepa. Following the celebration of Deepa's survival, Dipa May, or Nani, experienced more unfortunate loss. She lost her first son during childbirth, and then soon after her husband died suddenly. These losses spiralled Dipa May into extreme sadness and pain. She could not find solace. But rather than die from a broken heart, Dipa Ma became willing to receive help. Her willingness to surrender invited her inner guide to communicate a message in her sleep. Often our Ing will speak to us through dreams. In her dream, Buddha appeared to give her a message. Clinging to what is dear brings sorrow. Clinging to what is dear brings fear. To one who is entirely free of endearment, there is no sorrow or fear. Dipa May interpreted this guidance as a sign to commit her life to Buddhism and Vipassana meditation to find true serenity and happiness. She did just that. Dipa Ma became a master in her meditation. Dipa Ma went on to teach meditation, much like the course suggests. When the teacher is ready, the student appears. Her students came in a form that reflected her. They came as household women. Dipa Ma taught women to find enlightenment in daily practices of being a housewife. Her influence on these women led her to later be called the household saint. Dipa Ma went on to teach some of America's most renowned Buddhist teachers, such as Joseph Goldstein, Jack Kornfield and Sharon Salzberg. Her commitment to meditation and her faith in enlightenment influenced the world. Her spirit continues to impact spiritual seekers to this day. Dipa Ma's story reminds each of us that we have the power to effect massive change in the world, even from the comfort of our own home. As I mentioned earlier, Dipa Ma's example reminds us when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. This was the case for me. As soon as I committed to the course, it became clear that I was a teacher. I started giving free talks at local women's organisations and universities. Soon I began my own lecture circuit where I'd invited whomever I knew to attend. Audiences of 40 became 100, then 200, and now exceed 1,000 in person and online. The more I grew into the role of a teacher, the larger my audiences of students became. These students came in forms that resonate with me. Much like Dipa Ma attracted the household seekers, I've been attracting the spirit junkies. A new wave of spiritual seekers ready to awaken a relationship to their inner guide. As you grow your own practice, you too will be guided to teach in your own way. If you listen to your Ing, you will know where to go, what to say and what to do. As the course says, teaching love requires no level of expertise. All that is required is a desire to serve and heal. As usual, the ego will resist miracle-minded guidance. Now that you understand how crafty the ego can be, you're well prepared to take these next steps on your path towards inner power and peace. Remember, this work requires your commitment to love and a decision to see fear differently. I offer you some powerful ways to stay connected to this week's practice. The Miracle Worker suggests throughout this week give you the groundwork for sharing your light with the world. Remember these 4 steps and you'll learn to follow your true calling. 1. Your purpose is to heal your mind. 2. Continuously witness and surrender the fear that blocks your purpose. 3. Listen to your Ing and trust the path. 4. Choose love and know you're changing the pattern of the world. Each day this week will awaken the miracle worker within you. The exercises throughout the